Hello and welcome back to Today's Productions. Today, we're going to be taking a crack at predicting the Smash Ultimate roster. So, yesterday, of course, was the Super Smash Bros. Direct, and we got announced both King K. Rool and Ridley as long... Ridley? Simon Belmont? No. So, of course, yesterday was the Super Smash Bros. Direct, and with the announcements of both Simon Belmont and Ridley, I figured now's probably the... Now, of course, yesterday was the Super Smash Bros. Direct, and with the announcements of both Simon Belmont and King K. Rool, I figured now was the best time to take a look at the roster, because, you know, if I keep delaying this video, it'll be filled up by the time I get to it. So at E3, Sakurai told us to not expect as many characters as something like Smash 4 had, for example. However, I still think that there are going to be quite a few characters. I think a lot of people are undershooting this, and I think it's pretty likely that the Smash team, even though they are telling us not to expect too many characters, are going to overshoot a number that they would have thought. Now, originally, I thought that 9 or 10 fighters would be included, but currently I'm more of the opinion that we're going to get 12 new fighters. Now, why do I say this? First off, 12 is the lowest number of fighters we've ever gotten in a Smash Bros. Game. Of course, being the same number of characters as in Smash 64. And we know that Smash Ultimate has kind of been reminiscing and doing a lot of bringing back old stages, bringing back all the old fighters. So I feel like adding 12 fighters kind of echoes back to Smash 64, and for that reason, I think we're going to get 12 fighters. Also because it's not really that many fighters, but still enough fighters to give us some variety. And if you really try to like limit this down to like 9 fighters, it's a very, very, very difficult thing to do. So first, let's get the fighters that have already been confirmed out of the way. So we have Inkling, Ridley, Simon Belmont, and King K. Rool. Now notice that I didn't include the Echo Fighters in this. It's because I really do not think that the Echo Fighters count towards this number. With the fact that they included Riker as a Echo of Simon Belmont, it just feels like, for whatever reason to me, that they're not really counting echoes into these things. Of course, they don't have their own numbers, and for them to make this distinction and have so many echoes, for example, even though I'm a huge fan of Chrom and I'm very happy that he got announced, that is the 4th Marth. There's 4. There's been 4 of them. It's too many. So for all these reasons, I do think that echoes aren't going to be counted towards the main thing, and we're going to be giving them their own separate section of this video. So of course, there's going to be a new Pokemon representative, and I do want to make another video about this, talking about all the potential Pokemon, but for right now, I'm just going to go with the Pokemon I think will be in this the first off, and it's going to be Lycanroc. And the whole reason I'm even considering Lycanroc is because of Delzethins. I don't know how to pronounce his name, sorry, the icon's here, and a link to his channel will be in both the description and at the end of the video, but because of his video on Lycanroc. And I think it was a great video. I think that he really had some amazing points, and because of that, I have switched over from Team Decidueye over to Team Lycanroc. Either way, I want to give these characters more of a thorough look in a separate video at some point coming down the road. Also, because of Delzethin, I think Celica will be the representative from the Fire Emblem franchise. And now, I understand that these don't really work like that. Smash characters aren't picked by representative, but it's pretty obvious that there's going to be a new Fire Emblem character, right? Come on, it's one of the most popular series. And it's also because Celica has a more interesting moveset than most Fire Emblem characters. Now, there's nothing wrong with characters like Ike, or Marth, or Lucina, or Roy, or Chrom, but they are all sword users, and, you know, we have a lot of those, especially in the Fire Emblem category, right? So then, when you bring in characters like Corrin or Robin, they have more varied movesets that make them stand out from the rest of the cast. And Celica, being more of a magic user as opposed to a sword user, gives her more stuff to do there. And yeah, she might be a little bit similar to Robin. Maybe she'll work better as an Echo, but I don't think that necessarily is true. And I think that, again, going over to Delzethin's video, which I will put a link to in the description, he has a great idea for how Celica could work in Smash Bros. And I highly recommend you check it out, because it is the video that gave me the idea of adding Celica over to this roster. Then, of course, we move on to Bandana Waddle Dee. And like I said in this week's, I think it was this week's episode of Super Smash Pass, Bandana Waddle Dee just makes sense to me. If you want to see more detailed reasons onto why, go check out Tuesday's Super Smash Pass, because I go into a lot of detail on that and on why I think Bandana Waddle Dee should be in here. But, you know, as a quick synopsis of that, I just think he has an interesting moveset potential because he's a spear user, and it's something we don't have in the roster right now. Except we have Captain Toad, and again, I already did a Super Smash Pass episode on this character, but I do think Captain Toad is an interesting character, a unique character, and for that reason I'm adding him onto this list. Then we have a character that I don't really think a lot of people are looking at, but I'm pretty sure will be in this game. Jibanyan, I think that's how you pronounce it, Jibanyan, from the Yokai Watch series, the little red cat guy. I really think that this character will make it into Smash Brothers. The whole reason being is that one, Yokai Watch is an exclusive series to the Nintendo consoles, and aside from that, Yokai Watch is immensely popular, especially over in Japan. Now, it didn't have quite as big of an impact here in the States, but over in Japan it is a huge, huge series, and with games coming to the Switch and everything, I really do think Jibanyan will be port over into Smash Brothers. Now, maybe this would have made more sense for Smash Brothers Wii U, but because the game, I don't believe, had come out yet here on the States, maybe that's why they wanted to pull that, because it was just it was just domestically, it wasn't international yet, and now that the series has gone international and it is successful to at least a minor degree. You know, there's a Disney Channel series, there's a bunch of other stuff, so I feel like Yokai Watch is doing pretty well over here. Because of that, I feel like Nintendo want to push that character and push that series more, even though it is technically a third-party series because it is developed by latent developers Factor 5. And these last three representatives are some more crazy ones. So, Banjo and Kazooie. I'm pulling the trigger, I'm saying it, Banjo and Kazooie. I think they'll be added in. There's been rumors that Microsoft is working with Nintendo on something for Smash Brothers, and it's either going to be Banjo and Kazooie or Minecraft Steve. And I don't want Minecraft Steve in this game. Sorry. Minecraft's fine, I just don't want it in my Smash Brothers, alright? I like ice cream, and I like ketchup. Doesn't mean I put ketchup on my ice cream. I hope you guys understand. But yeah, I really do think that if this is going to be the ultimate version of Super Smash Brothers, what could make it that more than the return of Banjo and Kazooie to Nintendo consoles? I think this will be the huge, big, ridiculous character that they're going to announce in the series, and I really do hope it happens. But this is probably the least likely one. Smash Brothers always includes a retro fighter. You know, it was the Ice Climbers, then it was Pit and Rob, and then more recently it was the Duck Hunt Dog. And they also kind of do like crazy out there characters. Ness was a good example of one. I think Captain Falcon as well. And the Wii Fit Trainer. They always have these kinds of characters. And I don't think there's a lot left to pull from the NES market. Now, yes, we have characters like Balloon Fighter and the Excite Biker. Those are the two most obvious ones, but I just don't think either one will make it in. I don't think Balloon Fighter has enough to be a full-fledged character, and we do know that Excite Biker was supposed to be in Brawl, but because of the fact that Sakurai couldn't figure out how to get the motorcycle to work in the game, they were removed. So for these reasons, I don't think that either of those two will be making it in. We also already kind of have an NES representative, if you think about it, because of Simon Belmont. He is representing Castlevania from the NES. He's taken that original design, and so we kind of already have that. So instead, I think the retro rep will be coming from the N64 era, and it'll be Ray from Custom Robo. Now, we do know that Sakurai tweeted out a photo of this model kit right here, saying that he was using that to make a character in the game. And if you are a fan of GameXplain or Roger's Base, you know that Roger thinks that that is going to be Elma because of the Skells, I think they're called, from Xenoblade Chronicles X. And I don't agree with that. I don't think Elma is important enough to be in this game. Sorry, Elma. I just don't think Xenoblade Chronicles X had that big of an impact. And while, yes, arguably, Custom Robo is even less relevant and important, but I think that this is calling towards a revival of Custom Robo. Now, I don't know much about Custom Robo, I'll be honest here, but from what I understand, it is about customizable toy robots who fight in an arena. Kind of similar to the LBX franchise in that sense. But that sounds a lot like me, like it could be made into a Fortnite ripoff. But yeah, I don't mean that in a derogative way either. I do think that maybe Nintendo is looking at the Battle Royale market right now and wanting to get a piece of that pie, because why wouldn't they? And I think Custom Robo is a great way to do that. I think the customizable characters could work really well in Amiibo. I think it makes sense because of the timeline of where we are right now. And I think it makes sense for the game. You know, yes, it was an arena fighter, but I think that making it a Royale-style fighting game makes a lot of sense for Nintendo right now. And I think that, I mean, what else are they going to do with this franchise? So I really do think that Custom Robo may be coming back, Custom Robo Royale, if it will. And I don't know, it just seems like all the stars are aligning. I don't know if Sakurai will be making this game or not, but, you know, it seems like something that Nintendo could be doing. And now I know a lot of us aren't exactly fans of Fortnite. I know that there's a big, there's some hate towards that game and stuff, similar to, you know, Undertale or Five Nights at Freddy's when those were first released. But I just want everyone to take a moment and pause here, because at least I know I was not a big fan of shooter games, and you know, your Call of Duties and your Battlefields, those kinds of things, and those were always kind of picked on, especially I think in the Nintendo community. But then we got Splatoon. So we know that Nintendo can turn things that maybe isn't the most Nintendo thing ever into something amazing and very Nintendo, like Splatoon. So I think if we all maybe give the idea of a Nintendoized Fortnite Battle Royale style game, it could get something great and something similar to Splatoon. And I just think Custom Robo could be that game. And my last prediction isn't really a prediction, it's kind of a weird one. So I could not fill this 12th spot. There are so many characters that could go into it, and I don't know who to pick. And it's going to be a third-party character, in my opinion. I don't think it'll be a Nintendo character. I do think it'll be a third-party character, although I realize that this list is a little third-party heavy with Simon, Jibanyan, Banjo and Kazooie, and this character. But whatever, I do think it'll be a third-party character. Now, this character could be Crash Bandicoot. We've talked about that before, of course, on the channel. It could be Raymond, and Ubisoft has a great relationship with Nintendo right now, and that would make a lot of sense. It could be another Square character, either Sora or someone from the Dragon Quest series. It could be a Monster Hunter. We know that that's going to get a stage, and the Rathalos was both an assist trophy and a boss in that stage, so it could make sense to give it to one of them. It could be Hachi from Tekken. I know he's a very popular character right now because Namco works on this game, and they obviously develop the Tekken game, so it could be Hachi. It could be someone from Bethesda, like the Doom guy, or the Vault Boy, like we've talked about on the channel before. There's a lot of possibility on who this last character could be. So for that reason, I'm going to leave this slot empty, but with the asterisk of it has to be a third-party character, in my opinion. It's going to have to be someone. And maybe it'll be a Nintendo character. Sure, that's fair. But actually, speaking of third-party Nintendo characters, you know who probably will be? Probably Geno. Now that I think about it, probably Geno. I think that as much as obviously I gave Geno a pass in Super Smash Bros. I'll admit when I'm wrong. Alright, I'll admit it, with the fact that King K. Rool and Ridley and Simon and all these other crazy fan characters that everybody loves, and I even added some more of them on in this list, with all of the fact that all these characters are coming in, Geno's probably he's probably me in the game. Alright, I was wrong. He's probably going to be in the game. So, for that reason, maybe Geno should take this list. This last slot. I guess that makes sense. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's so hard to predict this game. Every time I feel like I know something about this game, and every time I'm like, this character will be in it, they do something, and then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I'm so lost. I didn't have this problem in Wii U. I knew things back in Wii U. I don't know things anymore. It's difficult. So, moving on from that, let's go over to Echo Fighters, and remember, Echo Fighters don't count, because I got a lot of them. A lot. Like, more than will be in the game. That's another thing. Yeah, not all of these Echo Fighters, I think, will be in the game. I'm just going to throw all of them at the wall and see what sticks. I guess, right? That makes sense. So, let's begin. First off, Ninten out of Ness. I feel like that's a pretty obvious one. I don't know 100% if that would work, but, Mother fans, you let me know. But, hopefully that makes sense, because I think it looks like it makes sense outside of that fan base, and then we'll have all three Mother protagonists in the game, or Earthbound protagonists, whatever you want to call it. That'd be cool. Then Impa out of Sheik. This is kind of a no-brainer to me. It makes a lot of sense. Personally, I'd go with the Skyward Sword design, because then we get another Zelda game representative from a different Zelda game, and that'd be cool. So Impa, I think she taught Sheik how to fight, and from the same clan. It just makes sense to put her in there. Dixie Kong out of Diddy Kong. This one I'm not too big of a fan of, because I really want Dixie Kong to have her own moveset, but with King K. Rool being added in, I really don't think they'll give us both King K. Rool and Dixie Kong as unique characters. So, Dixie Kong will have to be an echo of Diddy for now, and hopefully in the next game, she can get her own fully fledged moveset. And it doesn't make, like, a horrible amount of sense, but if you change, like, the tail move to her hair and figure something out for the Peanut Pop Gun, you can make it work. On the same line, Funky Kong for Donkey Kong, and I don't necessarily think we'll get both Funky and Dixie. It'd be cool, but I don't think that'll happen. But both of these could work equally well, in my opinion. Ken Masters for Ryu. This one seems... it's so obvious. I know there's more characters that use Ryu's fighting moves, like Akuma, for example, but Ryu, come on, Ken's the most obvious one. Especially since they did the whole Richter, whatever the heck his name is, and Simon thing, has like, one's the first protagonist, one's the second one. all the third-party characters are going to be like that, warning you now. But yes, Ken. Along that line, Shadow the Hedgehog for Sonic. Obviously, the Shadow Assist Trophy has been seen nowhere, so it makes a lot of sense that Sonic will be getting his evil doppelganger as an assist trophy. As Echo Fighter, not an assist trophy, sorry. Black Shadow for Captain Falcon. We got Dark Samus. I think it's about time that Captain Falcon gets someone in his roster. Please just put an F-Zero character in there somewhere. I would be okay with Blood Falcon too, but Blood Falcon's alt costume is a costume still for Captain Falcon, so I don't think Blood Falcon will get in for that reason. But put Black Shadow in there. Come on. I think he's the only character of... Well, I guess Luigi. But no, Luigi's not. Yoshi. Yoshi's the other one. Yoshi doesn't have anyone from the Yoshi franchise, but Yoshi's already a Mario character, so... You know what I mean. Just give someone for Captain Falcon. Miss PacMan for PacMan. Now, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that there's been some legal disputes between Bandai Namco and the people who supposedly made a game that was like the first version of Miss Pac-Man, but wasn't, or something. So there's like legality issues on who actually owns Miss Pac-Man right now. All that mumbo jumbo aside, if Miss Pac-Man can be in this game and it's all cleared legally, then Miss Pac-Man will probably be an Echo Fighter because it just makes sense. I have Louie for Captain Olimar, and now here's the thing. Alf, for whatever reason, wasn't upgraded to be an Echo Fighter, even though he's basically an Echo Fighter. And that was already weird in Smash Wii U, but it's even weirder to me in Ultimate that he's just a skin and not an Echo Fighter. So because of the fact that they didn't upgrade Alf to an Echo, I think maybe they're teasing that another captain will be one, and I think Louie makes the most sense. You know, nothing against Charlie or Brittany, but I just don't think they hold as much, you know, importance in the series as Louie does. I think Louie will be the Echo Fighter. Medusa for Palutena. Pit has his own Echo already, so Medusa for Palutena makes sense. And also, I just think that those characters would work similarly. I don't think that we'll get Viridian or Hades as newcomers, so I do think this will be the most sense to put in a new Kid Icarus character. Isobel for the Villager. This is a pretty fan favorite one. I think it'll work. I think someone I saw online brought up the point of changing the house mechanic to her building a house to a town's work project. I think that was Game Explain, now that I think about it. Maybe it was Fanatics 4. It's one of these channels. But that makes sense to me, so do that. Put her in. I think it makes sense. I have Tetra as a Echo Fighter of Toon Link. And this was an idea I had last night, and I was thinking about it, and I think it does make sense. You know, initially, it might not look like it makes sense. But Tetra fights with a sword and a pistol, right? Which, if you look at Toon Link's moveset, there's not too much there that isn't just his sword, right? And the things that are there that would cause some issues are bombs, boomerang, and arrow. Okay, so the bomb, I don't think is that big of a deal, because anybody can use bombs. If you have to, just reskin the bomb that he uses to a bomb flower, and then it'll be perfectly fine. Although I don't even think you have to do that. For the boomerang and the arrow, I already, like I said, don't think that there's necessarily an issue with Tetra using those items, but she's not traditionally shown using those items. So if we switch out the arrow for her pistol, and it does the same thing, it works the exact same way, you know, maybe you hold it and she charges a shot as opposed to, you know, charging the arrow, and it'll work exactly the same. I think that could be a good idea. And then for the boomerang, if it doesn't make sense for her, which I don't know that it doesn't, but I don't know. If they want to change it, just change it to her sword. Just have her throw her sword and have it come back. I think that's fine. Or if you have to change the move to something else, I don't know. Maybe it could be just a pistol shot instead, like a Star Fox pistol shot. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that would make her not an Echo Fighter anymore. But if you can't change that, just make her throw her sword. I think that's fine. Or just give her the boomerang. Is it that big of a deal? I don't know. And Tetra and Impa, I think they'll just make them Echoes instead of a new fighter. And I think it's fair to give them 2 new Echoes, and if you're not going to give them a new fighter, right? That balances out. Then we have some more third-party characters. So Protamine for Mega Man. I'm assuming that works. I don't know too much about the Mega Man franchise. Protamine is obviously now in Mega Man's Final Smash, so you could just give him that Final Smash now. My issue here is that, and Mega Man fans, please correct me on this, let me know this. Does Protamine have the copying ability that Mega Man has with powers? Does he have that? Because if he does, this will work fine. If he doesn't, I could see that being an issue. And I don't know if he does. So please let me know if you know that. If he does, there you go. It's great. It works fine. If not, I guess Mega Man just won't have an Echo. Ridin for Metal Gear Solid 2 specifically. I asked my cousin about this. I don't know if he wants a shout out, so I'm not gonna mention his Instagram or whatever. But I asked him last night because I know nothing about Metal Gear and also about Final Fantasy. I asked him with the next character. I don't know anything about these games. So I asked him who he thinks would work, and he specifically told me that Ridin from Metal Gear Solid 2. And I know Ridin turns in like a cyborg ninja in like the PlayStation game, so that one wouldn't work apparently. But Ridin from Metal Gear Solid 2, because he's like the same kind of character, I guess. I don't know. And Ridin also kind of makes sense to me because he's like he becomes a protagonist later on in the franchise, similar like Reichter, whatever the guy from Simon Belmont's. So I guess he makes a lot of sense there. And there you go, that one. If you don't like that one, that's not on me, that's on my cousin. And then for Cloud, we have Zack, who was the original user of the Buster Sword, from what I looked up in my research. And he was also a playable character in a Final Fantasy game. I don't know if he came before or after Cloud, but he was a playable character, and he used the Buster Sword before Cloud did. So he'd make sense as an echo of Cloud. And lastly, we have the Octoling. And the only reason the Octoling I'm a bit skeptical on is because, of course, the Octo expansion wasn't a thing when this game was being made. Although, to be fair, maybe Sakurai got announcements to that, and how hard is it to program an Echo Fighter? I don't know, as opposed to regular fighter. I don't have that information, obviously. So maybe it'll work. Maybe he got the things early enough to do that, and he'll be able to make that his own character. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't they just make the Octoling an announcement during the Inkling segment at E3? Well, because Octo Expansion wasn't out yet. You know, Octo Expansion also got shown off at E3, so maybe that's why. If not, maybe there'll be DLC or an update later on. We'll include them as Echo Fighters. But I do think, obviously, the Octoling would make sense as an echo of the Inkling. But that might not be able to happen because of time reasons. So guys, remember to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, do all that fun stuff in the comments below. Who do you think will be the characters added into the roster? Give me your whole predictions. Give me how many characters you think, all that fun stuff. Who do you think will be echoes? I want to know all this fun stuff. I like debating this stuff, so let me know your wildest dreams and predictions. See you guys next time.